Now we have a presentation by the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, Ellen Lotman, and from Estonia, the Estonian Society, and we have Bojana Andrik from the Serbian Society, who's also our co-vice president. Thank you.
So hello everyone, I'm Ellen Lotman, and I'm going to give you a very quick report about the activities of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. As some of you know, the co-chairs Nina Kellgren and me, we are resigning this year to transition the committee to the next, hopefully active members. So the report is going to be a little bit about the past, not only the last year. The committee was proposed by Nina Kellgren, BSc, and was proposed by Nina Kellgren, BSc. Now the sound. Okay. Tech issues. When in a board meeting during the presidency of Paul René Rostad, and the board in that period embraced the formation of the committee. It was in 2016. It was a very different world back then. And our first event that we organized was after Trump had just been elected president. So you can imagine that women were angry. So me and Nina, we became the co-chairs of the committee. And we started with different activities. The first thing... Hello. So shall I... can you hear me? No? Let's hope it stays. We were established officially during the IAGA in Macedonia. And our goal when we started was to make ourselves redundant one day. So it's a famous feminist approach that the reason that all these activities exist is to cease existing. So we hope, and we were hoping back then that someday in the future there will be time where we can say that we don't need the committee anymore. And actually, I have to say it was surprising that it happened much more quicker than we thought. When we established the committee, it felt like this will probably never happen, but the change has been quite immense during the recent years. And the committee works to achieve the representation of female and Black, Asian, and minority ethnic cinematographers among our ranks that would reflect the diverse reality of the world that we live in. And the speech that I wanted to show you, you can find it in the internet. It's in BC Magazine Instagram site. And it's a speech that I gave a year ago during the camera image closing ceremony, where these ideas that we represent were really put into a very concise form. Okay, so the key achievements that maybe you will see. If not, I will just talk about it. So we organized the first thing that we did. We organized in 2016 camera image. So the first event we organized was 2016, and it was the first ever camera image event that was focused on diversity. So this topic had never somehow come up during the festival, and now it has become a regular part of the program. Plus, there are many events on diversity that are being now organized by different organizations. So that's one of the things that maybe in a way prompted us to understand that we have achieved something. Because when we were planning last year to do a camera image panel discussion, we saw that there were 6 different discussions about this topic happening, which meant for us that it's good. And inspired by the events that we have organized, many new female cinematographers collectives have been established globally. For example, Cinematografinnen, which is a collective that is active in German-speaking countries. I hope that we get the images back. Okay. Over the years, we organized tens of events, masterclasses, panel discussions dedicated to diversity. And over the years, we wrote numerous articles and opinion pieces to different outlets, including BC Magazine, Cinematography World, etc. We represented IMAGO on diversity issues on tens of international events, including the ASC Summit, the Cinegear, Manaki Brothers Film Festival, etc. And one more thing is that we did the full fundraising ourselves, so we had never used any of the IMAGO budget. And the events were kindly sponsored by different sponsors, among them Ari Vantage, Panavision, etc. And what was important is that we worked with numerous partners, including Illuminatrix, ASC Vision Committee, Digital Ocean Foundation, Camera Image Film Festival, etc. So these partners, we would have not been able to do the things that we did without them. So that's one of our first events that we did. And you can see, if you can see it, you can be it, is one of our slogans. And a very, very small anecdote on this topic. When my daughter was 4 years old, my oldest daughter, Estonia had a male president. And my daughter once told me that when I grow up, I want to become the first lady. And I was, of course, breathing heavily. I said, you don't have to become a first lady, you can become the president. And then a couple of years later, Estonia had a female president. And two friends of mine have a boy and a girl. The girl was about 6 years old and the boy was 3 years old. And the girl said in a discussion in the morning, she said, when I grow up, I want to become a president. And then the younger brother said, oh, I want to become a president too. And the older sister said, huh, boy, president? Strange. So one of the things that we experienced is not that we don't want boy presidents. We want everybody to be able to be a president or to be whatever they want to be. But one of the things that we experienced over these years of talks is that you have to really start from the youngest, because the change is the biggest. So during the lifetime of that 3-year-old person, all his or her life, there had been somebody to look up to, somebody you can see, and then you can also think you can be. And during the events that we organized, we got a lot of support from the sponsors that I mentioned, but also I think the biggest support that we had was from cinematographers who participated on our events. So I'm just rolling through some of the images of the events that we did. The first event had huge attendance. We were really surprised that we had over 300 people in the room, and it was really incredibly well received. In a way, it proved to us that what we talk about is important and is needed, and it also proved to us that IMAGO is in the right position to be there. The second event that we organized was already more focused on making the change. So we had the president of the Motion Picture Academy, John Bailey, who is, if I'm not mistaken, the first cinematographer to be in that position. We had BFI creative director Heather Stewart. We had Rachel Morrison. We had Charlotte Bruce Christensen, etc. So very many panelists. You can also see that we had a representative from Swedish Film Institute managed to get the funding parity in a very short time. And one of the interesting things that came out during one of the presentations is that the people asked from the audience, how did you manage parity? Did you have quotas? And they said, no, we didn't. We just told everybody that we want parity. And then more projects started coming in from female filmmakers. So we understand that much more than policy, it is important to talk about this topic and keep this topic all the time in the forefront, so that we understand. One is that it's important. So here you can see that I tend to travel with the crew. Here is Nina, who was a co-chair with me, and we also understand one of the important things that we have seen during all our events is that numbers are very important. When you speak about the need for diversity, then if you really show the numbers to people, they understand the gravity of the situation. When you don't talk about the numbers, then it really seems that things are improving. So this is one other event that we had that was also full house. It was dedicated for younger cinematographers. Same idea. If you can see it, you can be it. So just to bring together young cinematographers who and here also in the masterclass with Charlotte Bruce Christensen, you can see that our goal has always been to showcase minority cinematographers in a positive light. So we don't want to organize yet another panel discussion where everybody is sad. It's not that there is no reason to be sad, but we believe that the cinematographers whose work we have shown and who we have showcased are the proof. Their own work is the proof. They are not there just to talk about that they want to have something different. They talk about their work. And the first year, one of the things that Natasha Breyer said in her presentation is that, why am I on camera image doing a diversity presentation? I would just like to do a regular masterclass. I don't want to sit in another diversity table and talk about diversity. But we have talked over the years about many things. This is a panel that was dedicated to work-life balance. It was an incredible event, and it was very positively received by all cinematographers. So one of the things that we have noticed is that if you bring the issues of diversity in the forefront, you also start speaking about the so-called soft values, which in a very, very masculine dominated cinematography, usually things are not spoken about. Mental health, work-life balance, family, and all of this. And suddenly in a diversity setting, you can speak about these things. And my greatest achievement on this panel is we spoke about a lot about different family models, the panelists, how to make it work and how to keep on working with little children or with no children or with mixed families or as single parents, etc. And that one of the on one of the camera image parties in the evening, a male cinematographer came up to me and said that he and his wife had been thinking about having kids for more than 10 years and they didn't dare. And after this panel, he called his wife and said, "Let's do it." So maybe somewhere in the world there is a next cinematographer running around thanks to this panel. So these events that we have organized, in a way, we also kept on doing them during the COVID, so we didn't stop. We enlarged our activities. And over the years, we have had a lot of positive press coverage, a lot of it in social media. So, and one of the things that I really want to bring out here for IMAGO in the future is that a lot of this press coverage that we get, or especially social media coverage, is thanks to the organizations that we work together with. For example, Illuminatrix, which is a female cinematographers collective. It has a branch called Illuminatrix Rising, who are young cinematographers who are social media savvy. So Illuminatrix Rising did a lot of the promotion for us because me and Nina, we can't even find Instagram from internet. We also got coverage from the biggest movie film business journals like Variety, etc., and Screen Daily. British cinematographer has been very positive, and not only our events, but they have published articles from us and numerous other outlets, as you can see here. And one of the things why it has been so important for us to be on the events, especially in camera image, is because you can really reach out to so many more people there, and not only through the audience in the room, but also through the coverage that you get in social media and the press interest. So this year we were not able to be on camera image, and I think it's a big issue. So it hopefully will be solved in the future. So all of this has happened during the recent years. And what we have experienced together with Nina is that um, the change actually did happen. So at some point we felt that maybe we don't. Maybe we need some new people to come in and see something fresh, because we didn't want to organize yet another panel. We wanted to do something different. Here is one speech, as I mentioned in the beginning. You can find it in the internet. And what we also wanted to do, we were in the process of preparing a big exhibition. And one of the things that IMAGO is in a unique position is that here is just some links to the organizations that have been created over the last years. These are mostly female cinematographers collectives. There are even more now. And what is interesting about these collectives, they have been inspired by creating these collectives. We made a call to countries worldwide, and we said, create your own cinematographers collective. And what is so interesting about this is that this topic has been for a very long time seen as a problem topic. People come together and they just talk about the problem, but nothing really changes. But if you look at the websites of these collectives, the work that these cinematographers do is in the forefront, and it looks inspiring. It doesn't look weak. It doesn't look like somebody who needs help. It really, really looks powerful. And what we feel about IMAGO is that IMAGO is in a very unique position to share global information. Because one of the things that we have learned is that diversity issues in different countries are different, but also there are really different places. There are really different topics that we speak about. So some countries are as advanced as speaking about pronouns, and some countries say, we don't have a female cinematographer problem because we don't have female cinematographers. So there are really, really different, each country is very different. And what IMAGO can do, it can inspire the countries which are not as advanced as some others, and by sharing this information to create a change. So these collectives that have been formed, I think it should grow, more and more collectives should appear, so that the change becomes more and more global. And it needs a global collaboration. We have worked with the ASC Vision Committee and other organizations to share information. And we feel that the bigger the picture, the greater the change. One of the very important things that needs to be, I don't know if how many of you are aware of this report. So this is the ACS study, Wider Lens, Australian Camera Workforce Development and Diversity. And it's a fantastic study. It is so clear about the way the numbers and the data is presented. And I really encourage you to look into it. This is a summary, but there is also the study itself, which really shows the situation in Australia. But we know that Australia is no different than the rest of the world. So the balance is off everywhere. And you can see the key findings, and it will be, I think it's very telling. And what we were in the process of planning is to do a similar global study. So we have met with the researchers. There are 2 universities behind this research. It is a very excellent study in a way of how you present the numbers. You just don't show graphs, but you actually show, for example, there are profiles, typical profile of a second AC and typical profile of a camera operator. And just looking by this profile, you can really see the imbalance. So our idea was to jump over this. Was to do the similar study to make it into a global one. And we had meetings with the researchers, and it is a project that would take a couple of years, and it needs a global board where you have representatives of different countries. And the other plan that we had was exhibition in camera image. called The Changing Face of Cinematography. So we want to have photos of different cinematographers who represent the actual difference of people in the world to be projected in a very prominent position on the festival. And yesterday we spoke about what happened with Camera Image. So we were in the process of preparing this exhibition when it turned out that Camera Image cannot work with IMAGO anymore. So currently we are moving forward with the exhibition with societies separately from IMAGO, but we really hope that the situation will change. And I'm out of time. Um, so I think the summary is here. It is important. The numbers are important. It's important that the studies are conducted so we can really see the change. My co-chair Nina Kellgren said that there was a moment she has experienced revivals, many revivals during her life where things seem to change. And she said that in 80s there was a moment where there was 1% of female cinematographers, and when the voices saying this is too much, now there are too many women, and now men are being persecuted. These voices appeared when there was 4% of female cinematographers. So from 1% to 4%, it was already, wow, this change is too big, too fast. So numbers really, really show what is happening. If we don't look at the numbers, we are prone to think everything is all right because we don't want to face problems. Language matters. That's why I think it's important to speak about it within IMAGO, because within IMAGO there are many different languages, and some of those languages are gendered languages. So how the gendered words maintain the status quo is important. And many other things that I don't have time to speak about. But now, since I mentioned that me and Nina are resigning from the co-chair position, and we want to transition towards the next energetic committee, I will give the floor to Bojana to speak about the future.
Thank you. Well, the future is yet to come, so I will be shorter. I will be very short. First, to thanks to Nina and Ellen for amazing work they did. So we are coming in a position where they did so much and been so inspiring. So it will not be easy to continue, but we have a good foundations. So actually, I was introduced to the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, invited by Nina and Ellen to participate in the camera image panel in 2021. And after that, I was invited by French collective Femmes à la Caméra to be part of their panel in Paris from my region. And also we had at Manake Brother Festival, we organized a panel regarding the same topic in Balkan regions where I live. So naturally, Nina and Ellen invited me and my co-chair from Colombia, Adriana Bernal Martinez, to move on with the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. For now, we believe that we are only interim co-chairs because we think that what we plan to do and the steps that we put in a time frame might get to someone who will be good in that position. So let's see in the future. First of all, we also, of course, have active members that agreed. There is around 7-8 of them that agreed to continue the work of the committee. And then, as I said yesterday, very important, I'm going to be very persistent, asking you for help. We will send a call for members of the ITC, of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. And there are two kind of members we can get: those who are supportive and those who are really active. So when we spread the call for this, please try to find among your societies those that want. Of course, we need support, but we also need an active members because you see what's been already done from starting from 2016. There's a lot of work, and of course we all need support there. So we will also, of course, communicate with all collectives, partners, sponsors, and everyone that's been in a future. I wanted to put this focus on this. There is a code of communication ethics of IMAGO, and first point says be inclusive. That means that we, as a diversity and inclusion committee, we will invite all of these groups of people to join, of course. And next step is a joint meeting after we share a call and give you some time to propose an active members. We will make a big joint meeting with the active members now, and we already have a lot of ideas and brainstorming started in the committee. What should be our next actions? So that is a future that is yet to come, and hopefully you will be informed, and there will be something to be informed of. So that's it for now. I think. Thank you again, Ellen, and please for Ellen and her and Nina's amazing work. And this is officially a handover. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ellen. Thank you, Boyana. We're going for a break.